Okay, so Leetcode practice time. In this video, there are two goals. The first one is to find the solution and do some coding work, and the second goal is to see how we are going to behave during this interview. So remember, the first thing is to always try to understand the problem, and if there is anything unclear, please bring the question to the interviewer to ask him to, or the interviewer to clarify, and think about some edge cases. So let's see this question. Given a string that contains only digits 0 to 9 and the target value, return all the possibility to add binary operators plus, minus, and times between the digits so they evaluate to the target value. Alright, so let's say example 1, 1 to 3, and the target is 6, and the output is 1 plus 2 plus 3, 1 times 2 times 3. Okay, it makes sense. Okay, similar for other examples. And the one thing is we cannot really treat 0, 0 as a something valid, since we have this kind of input and output. And the constraints is input could be between 0 to 10, the length of the num, and num only contains the digits. Alright, so and one thing I want to ask is if it is okay for us to put like a minus between the first number, because it is going to make it negative. It says return all the possibilities to add binary operators, not unary operators. Okay, so it means we cannot you cannot put the minus before the first number. Okay, yeah, I think so far it's clear. So one edge case I can think about is if it is empty, then if this num is empty, then we just return empty list. But let's see if this edge case is going to be covered by our general solution. So what would be the solution? So it seems like there are two parts. The first one is we enumerate all the possibilities to insert the binary operators in between the numbers. And the second part is about we evaluate the value of the expression after we fully generate the expression. So, but we can always and I think we can compute the value on the fly. So if we have the first, like if you have the function solely just to generate the expression, and we have another helper function to compute the value of the expression, that's perfectly fine. And if we can do it easier, like in the recursion, we recursive function, we simply compute the value within the recursive function. I think it can save us some time. So let's see, for this one, if we enumerate all the possibilities, so for each of the places except the first number, we have how many different choices? So we have 4 choices to have a plus, minus, or times, or we just connect with the previous digits we have. So let's say the length of num is n. Length of num is equal to n. So this one, it would have the runtime as 4 to the power of n minus 1 for all the possibilities. And to evaluate the value of the expression, it would be n, like the linear to the length of the num. Alright, so I think in total, it's going to be n times 4 to the power of n minus 1, which is, I think this one is going to be the runtime. So I'm thinking if there is any better solution, but I think at least we need to enumerate all the possibilities of the expression. Otherwise, we may just miss something. So it's for sure that this factor is going to, like 4 to the n minus 1 is going to exist. And evaluation, this is just how many possibilities. And regarding the evaluation, for sure it is, each evaluation is going to take about all of n. Alright, so I think in total, the best solution we can have is 4 to the power of n minus 1 times n. Just to make it a bit clearer, it's not like n minus 1 times n on the power of 4, so it's just n times, just to make it clear. So the next part is about coding. We care about the correctness, readability, and the speed of the code. So let's give it a shot. So add operator. So let's see, expressions, new array list, let's say linked list. So this is the result we are going to return, and we are going to call a DFS function on top of it. Let's define a helper function. Let's call a evaluation, and then finally we return the expressions. So I haven't decided which parameter we are going to consider in this function, but let's do it now. So it's a evaluation. Okay, so I think we still need to, I guess we still need to deal with an edge case here, because from the top of my head, I think the evaluation won't deal with this edge case properly. So if num is equal dot is empty, then we are going to simply return the expression. Okay, expressions. So evaluation, what are the parameters we're going to return? So for sure we are going to get the original num into it, and we are going to have the we are going to have the index, which is which characters we are currently looking at. And we are also going to have, or maybe we put target here, and we have the index, and maybe we should have the previous operand, because there are some minus and multiplier here, and we have the current operand. So num target index previous, and we may need to have the value, which is the expression, the value of the expression, and also we need to have a string as temp here, and also we need to have the result list into it. So expressions. Alright, so I think that's pretty much it. Let's see. So if we press the num, the target as the target, start at 0, start previous operand 0, current operand 0, and this is the value as 0, this is the string as temp, which is empty, and then this is the expressions. So okay, so first of all, we need to define the exit of the recursion. So I'll say if num dot length is equal to the index, then that's the end of this recursion. So if target is equal to the value, then, and also the current operand is equal to a 0, then that's when we are going to expressions dot add the temp expressions. Okay, otherwise we just return without adding it. And then So first of all, we need to calculate the current operand, I think. Yes. So let's say int current operand int as equal to current operand times 10 plus okay, so there might be some overflow here because it says num.length is between 0 to 10, so potentially we need to have the previous operand defined as long, current operand defined as long, and also value defined as long. So current operand times 10 plus what is that, num.car at num index minus the 0 thing. So this is the current operand if we include the current current character. So I would say if it's not a 0, if the current operand is not equal to 0, then feel free to go ahead and consider following characters. Consider connecting the following characters into another number. So we could call a value hn num and target and the index plus 1, the operand and the current operand int and so we are going to have the value and we are going to have the temp. We're going to have the expressions. So it's like we just keep going, connecting the next digit into it. Sure. Okay, and otherwise, if it's larger than 0, then otherwise if temp is not empty, if temp.empty is empty, then it means there are several things for us to do. First of all, we could have the plus here, and you could do, so we can, if it is empty, we could do plus, but the plus, we are not going to append the plus in the temp string. We cannot do minus. You cannot do multiplier as well. So okay, so if it is empty, then we just a value hn the num target index plus 1, and then starting from here we will have the previous operand as current operand int it's times the current thing times so it is plus the current thing. Okay, so the previous become the current operand int, and the current operand is becoming 0, and value would be current operand int, and the temp plus current operand int here, I think, and then the expressions. Alright, so if it is empty, then feel free to just do it at the first number. Otherwise, we could do several things. or you just need to return here. So if it's empty, then we could put it as the first operand, and otherwise we could do several different things. So target +1, target and index +1, and then previous operand is going to be current operand. And then this is the current operand would be 0, and this is time plus the current operand. Yeah, so that's the temp. So this is target index +1 current previous operand, current operand. Okay, so we may say value here. So the value should be target index current operand. This is previous, this is current, this is the value. So this is the index, previous, current, value. Okay, value value plus this is value plus as well. Sure. Yeah, so there are a lot of parameters, which makes me feel a bit confusing currently. So, and then, alright, so the expressions. And what we could do is like the minus. So the minus would be target index +1 current. Current operand is gonna be minus stuff. 0 minus it, and 0 which is a current thing, and we are going to have the so if we have the minus, which is value minus the current thing, temp minus plus minus, and then expression. Okay, and when it comes to multiplayer, it is, so the previous is gonna become prev operand times this, and the value is going to be value minus previous operand plus okay, so the previous is that we have did some stuff for it, and we just minus the previous stuff, and then times previous operand times this one. Alright, yes, and then we simply do something like this, and then expression. So I think it looks good currently. Let's do some testing on top of it. So let's go through this piece of code manually, using some example explaining how it works. So it's called add operands expression. We initialize as empty list, and then if it is empty, then we simply do nothing, return it as it is. And then target, so several different things: index, previous operand 0, current operand 0, value as 0, and the temp string and expression. Alright, so if num.length is equal to an index, then if target is equal to value and current operand is 0, then we are going to say good. Then we are good. Yeah, then we are good. Then we are good, and then we add the expression into it. Otherwise, we have the current operand int as we actually don't need to have the current operand though. We just need to have the current operand. So just copy current operand. Okay, yeah, because that's current car operand int. This one just return and just delete it. So Yeah, so things. So things could be. Okay, so let's see if there's any other operand in. Okay, here another one. Alright, so I think that's it. So let's say, so when everything is starting at the very beginning, current operand is equal to, for this one, it is equal to 1 at this time. And since it's larger than 0, feel free to go ahead and connecting like follow-up characters into a separate number. So if we call this one, it's going to say, okay, this is the index is going to be 1, and the previous operand as 0, current operand is 1, and then the value is going to be 0, temp is equal to empty, and then expression. So if we call this one, the current operand is going to be 12 at this moment. So okay, so that's essentially how this branch works. And if it is empty, because at the very beginning it's empty for sure, and the evaluation, we could just have the current operand passed as the first number, which is, and the evaluation would, the expression would be like this one currently. This is the thing, and the index plus 1 current operand 0, and the value plus operand. Okay. This one. So if it is all empty, then when we go to the next step, we say, okay, the current operand, we are just going to say it's a complete number, and we are going to plus it into the current expression. The expression, and if it the previous number, this is the previous. If it is a minus, we can do a minus. Then its previous operand is going to be negative current operand 0 value minus this one. All right. So if it is previous operand, current operand 0, and value minus the previous operand. Yeah. So minus the previous operand and plus previous operand times operand. I think it should be good. Yeah, this is the branch we do the multiplication. So let's give it a shot. So compile arrow car operand is equal to car operand. So okay. Oh, okay. So the car operand, you just need to, don't need to redefine it. Okay, so it looks good. And let's see if this one is going to break our code, because we essentially say if the current operand is larger than 0, then we can connect like the follow-up numbers into the current operand. So if it is equal to 0, then we are not jumping into this branch. So I think we should be good. Let's give it a submission. Okay, so it's accepted, which means we are good. So for this one, yeah, so testing, for the test case setup, I would say definitely set up something like example 1 and example 5, and example 4 I think is worth to do it. Other than that, I think we should be okay. Yeah, that should be most of the test cases I want to set up if I want to have a good enough test coverage. Yeah, so that's it for this coding question. If you have any question about this coding puzzle, please leave some comments below. If you like this video, please subscribe to this channel, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.